The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, hi there, everybody. A little quick update because hey, how hot is it? 91 degrees. That's a lot of degrees. I love that joke. It is hot. It's going to be a heat wave, and we are got a heat wave, and it's going to be bad. It's going to go up to 100, they say. So everybody, what do you got to do? I remember being in terrible, terrible heat. It beats the cold. Let's face it. I'd rather be hot than cold. Then again, if I'm in a building or a room or my home, anywhere where the air conditioner is not working at peak, and I like it frigid. I like it 67 degrees. I know we're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to set your air conditioner at a 74 degrees, 70. That's like asking it to produce heat. That's not comfortable. It's a terrible, terrible situation. Air conditioning is lovely. You know where it works best? Cars. I got my beautiful Mercedes, leasing it. It's doing great. Thank you, Doug Wells. And, the air in there is frigid, and you can set it right to the temperature you want, which is a new thing. You used to just take that dial and put it all the way down to the thick blue part, narrow blue to thick blue. And then narrow red to thick red. And that's all the control. That's all the trust they had in you. That's pretty much it. So the Democrat Socialists of America, You see this? The anti-Semites, the anti-American, they are just blasting off into the stratosphere. Yet another nut job elected from Colorado knocked out a kind of I guess you would call them a moderate Democrat in Colorado. 15 terms or 15 years or how many? 15 terms. What the heck? Oh, what the hell just happened there? She had 15 terms. That's 30 years. That's a long time, and just taken out by a radical leftist Marxist. And nobody in the party is saying, we disagree with these people. Can you imagine if Nick Fuentes ran for, Senate or Congress and won the primary? Every reporter, every fake news reporter would be thrusting microphones in our faces, commanding us to condemn Nick Fuentes. I can't stand Nick Fuentes myself. I think the guy is nuts. Everybody says, you got to listen to Nick Fuentes. I turned him on the radio, and 15 seconds in, he's telling me how Hitler had a point, and he hates Usha Vance because she's non-white. I have no problem hanging up on Nick Fuentes for the rest of my life. I don't need this in my life. The Republican, nobody needs this guy hanging around. It's pretty easy. So the ones who are coddling extremists right now and actually kind of figuring out how do we become like them, they're not going to shut them down. You have to keep that muscle flexed, that muscle that you will shut somebody down. When President Trump says, that is a stupid question. I talk to a lot of stupid people, but you are the stupidest. You got to keep that muscle flexed. He says it about little things sometimes. Sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes you don't like it. Oh, my God. Did he really have to say that to that nice little reporter, that little fake news reporter? Now more than ever, I think, yeah, you do. Because if you don't call out the little stupid things, you get into the habit of accepting little stupid things, and then you get into the habit of accepting moderate-sized stupid things, and then suddenly you're signing up for big, stupid, dangerous, hateful things like socialism, like anti-Semitism. The catalyst, in a way, for all this stuff. There is no mainstream Democrat Party. When you had the President of the United States blowing up the border and advocating for transgender sex change, children, hormone therapy, all that crap, that it was a radical party then. This is just kind of sealing the deal or the icing on the cake. that it's gone DSA. Democrats, Socialists of America will own the other part of the DSA. And I came up with this DSA for Democrats, desperate. Let's see, what do we want to call them? They're desperate. They are scared, and they are ambitious. Desperate, scared, and ambitious. So they want to keep power. They want to stay in the game, and they're desperate and scared. So they're never going to call out these people, these true maniacs, because they're cool. These are the cool kids right now. And one thing that Chuck Schumer is not is a cool kid. He's older. He's white. Now, I don't care about those things. I think you could be old, white, and cool. You could be young, Hispanic, and Gen X, whatever the hell. You can be a hermaphrodite and be totally uncool and totally stupid. It doesn't matter the sex organs. It doesn't matter who you want to sleep with. I've met ignorant people from all walks of life. I've met interesting people from all walks of life, bold people, timid people. It really doesn't matter. But it does in the Democrat Party, and now it does in the DSA. There's one guy, they say, who's poised to shut this crap down, and he's not going to get out of the starting gate. Rahm Emanuel, he's a bit of a Turk, that guy. You know, he's just ambitious, super duper ambitious. He's the one guy who's kind of seen this, though. Hey, maybe there's an avenue for me. I'll come out against this stuff and people will like me. He's never going to get nominated. He was the chief of staff to Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, a political advisor to Bill Clinton. He became congressman from Illinois and then a mayor. He's like the moderate Democrat because he talks like a Republican sometimes. That used to help you. It doesn't anymore. They're all finished. Let's see here. Do we have the new maniac? Yeah, here she is. This is what she sounds like. Her name is Kiros, K-I-R-O-S, Milat Kiros. I believe she was born in Ethiopia. Not 100% sure on that. And she just knocked out a 15-term incumbent. Cut 10, please. Cut 10.
Abolishing ICE is just one step, right? Democrats have been in power multiple times over the last few decades and did nothing to address the immigration reform that we actually
ICE
need.
Expenditures, increased spending.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think there has to be an immediate pathway for every single undocumented immigrant that's here in this country today that does not require them to shell out thousands of dollars to go through the process, for it to take decades at a time to be able to get to citizenship. An immediate pathway to citizenship.
And that's one of her more mainstream points of view. You know, the stuff that she said about 9/11, America somehow deserved it. Just ugly, anti-American, but this is where it's at. This is cool. This is stylish. And people like Pelosi, Obama even. You know what Obama's going to do? He's already done it. He'll do it again. I admire their energy. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you, Zoran Mamdani. I'm rooting for you. I'm not rooting for. That's akin to rooting for a foreign country. They want to rearrange. You know that guy used to call from Indiana? He was more right than wrong. When Mamdani put his hand on the Bible or the Koran or whatever it was, and he swore that he would preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. There are vast portions of the Constitution this guy does not believe in. He wants to gut the whole thing. I think that's maybe you shouldn't be a mayor of an American city if you can't abide by the Constitution. Hey, here's somebody who should really know better. This is a great example. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois. This guy is rich. This guy is fat. I'm trying to think of what else I know about J.B. Pritzker. Hates Trump, but will say and do anything to be in the game. Be in the game. Here he is. He's embracing all this nonsense. You got to embrace it. You got to embrace socialism. Because, why again? Cut 16, if you don't mind. Cut 16.
Your party is in a bit of a moment right now following some elections here in New York. 3 candidates who identify as Democratic Socialist won their primary campaigns, several of them to oust the more moderate establishment members of Congress in their races. Do you think that's good? Are their victories good for your party?
I think what's good is that there are Democrats who are standing up and fighting, that there are Democrats who are standing up and talking about and doing something about addressing the high cost of things. Affordability is an issue that everybody is feeling all across the country. And any Democrat that is standing up and speaking out about that, coming up with solutions for that, and importantly, doing it in a manner that is focused on fighting what Donald Trump is trying to do to raise prices on people, I think those are the people who are winning. So I'm not suggesting that I had one candidate or another in any of these races. I'm just suggesting that that is the recipe for winning in 2026 and I think beyond.
All right. None of those candidates are talking about that stuff. They're talking about the fuel. They admit it. The fuel is anti-Israel, anti-Jew, right? That's what gets people fired up on a hot day in June. I know it's July, but we had primary day, right? On a hot day in June to come out and vote for these creeps. You don't get that by talking about affordability. All right. These people are, and when they stand up and they applaud for this, it's filth, absolute filth. Now, on the bright side, Ron DeSantis, is this another reason to go to Florida? Canceling property taxes. You know, it's kind of interesting that the idea that they could tax you on unrealized capital gains, you know, they're thinking about that. You got all this stock and they could tax you on stock that you don't even cash in. They've been wanting to do this for a long time. It sounds outrageous to me, but then again, it's kind of outrageous if you have a home that's worth, for math's sake, $100,000 and they're taxing you 10%, 20%, whatever it is. And you got to give the government $20,000, $10,000, $5,000, $30,000. I'm not selling that house. Why do I have to pay a tax on it? Ron DeSantis, this is like a radically but beautiful solution. He's going through it here. Ron DeSantis, I like him. Don't love him. He's never going to be president. He's too, well, amid the good, you'll hear the quirks. Cut 18, please. Ron DeSantis on this tax situation.
So what I would say to you is this: you are going to hear those horror stories from every local government in the state. They are going to. I know that, and they're doing that to try to get people to not vote for this. They have a self-interest in keeping the gravy train going. If you can't see that, I don't know how I can help you. You're going to continue to be inundated by this. They're going to tell you there's no money for infrastructure. You're not going to have any money for police. You're not going to have any money for any of these things. They are going to say that over and over again. And let me ask you this question. Excuse me, I'm answering your question. You asked the question, I'm answering it. If we had $32 billion in 2019, I came here, I was all over the state. Did we not have services in 2019? I mean, is this, do I have amnesia? I mean, yes, we did. So even if you just said 2019 levels, adjust for population and inflation, that'd be like 43 billion, 44 billion. You're having way more, even if you pass this property tax thing. So don't buy the hype that you're not going to be able to do these things. I can tell you, anytime the property tax is put to voters around the country, you hear the same arguments over and over again. And look, mine was a lot bolder. I mean, like, you know, part of me is like, you know, I'm voting for it, but part of me is like, you know, you watered it down, right? It's like, so if anything, your concern should be it should have been bolder, not that somehow this is going to be. So, yes, they are going to say, oh, we can't give pay raise because property tax. We can't do this. We can't do that. You're going to be inundated with that. They're going to try to get every single person who is connected to local government to be hostile to doing things for taxpayers. But, you know, one of the things is, you know, people that work in these agencies pay property tax too, and they are getting hit, and they would like to have a break as well. So that's going to be the hype. I think you're going to continue to see that going on. But this proposal the legislature did, you know, really at best, even when it's fully implemented, it will reduce your homesteaded property tax burden by about 2/3. And so, you know, if you're paying, you know, $10,000, you know, you're going to get 2/3 off that once it's fully phased in. People that have lower value homes.
devil's in the details, and DeSantis may be a little bit two-faced on this, saying he's cooled to it's hot. It's hot right now. The ballot measure. All right, more on that. I like his heart is in the right place, but it's Ron. You know, he's a little bit weird. 800-848-9222. That Nina Totenberg lady falsely reporting that the great Justice Alito was retiring. What the hell was that all about? People say she's a great journalist. She's a mutt. I'll be right back.
Greg Kelly.
Let's go, Brandon.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So there's a drumbeat that I see so-called MAGA allies not picking up the drum and banging it a little bit harder and marching in a different direction. That's what they do. A lot of them just can't wait for Trump to be gone. And they hear these stories and they think right away, oh, the New York Times must have a point. Oh, yeah. This really speaks to me. I don't like it. I don't approve. I didn't like it when Hunter, and I don't like it when Eric. So what the Times is doing is beating the drum, as they do, and they all get in lockstep and move in the same direction, that President Trump is profiting from the presidency, and so is his family, and it's the most corrupt situation ever in the history of the Republic. Two major stories on the front page of the New York Times. President Trump pulled in at least $2 billion after returning to the White House, and Trump's money-making run is unrivaled in presidential history. Let's see. Financial disclosure for 2025 shows that the Trump family's holdings, particularly President Trump's crypto businesses, were stunningly lucrative. The president's move to open new business ventures rather than eliminate potential conflicts defies a long-held tradition. A long-held tradition. Did Obama follow that tradition? He was worth $1 million when he got to the White House. He was worth about $100 million when he left. He's worth about $1 billion now. How about the Clintons? He made $30,000 a year as governor of Arkansas all the way up until 1993. Then he becomes president. And then his net worth, I believe, went to about $25 million while he was in office. And these people had, relatively speaking, nothing compared to President Trump, who's been a billionaire for most of his life. Been a billionaire for most of his life. We all saw it. We saw him on The Apprentice. I saw growing up, Art of the Deal, Trump Tower. I've seen these buildings. I know they exist. He's one of the most successful men who's ever lived in America. Oh, that's all hype. That's all PR. Shut up. You know, until you see his actual tax returns. Remember, he didn't want to release his tax returns. Finally, somebody leaked them on him. Oh, sure enough, he made $800 million last year. And then it all checks out. It's all legit. Now, what the weak MAGA people, so-called MAGA pretenders, because they don't do a good enough job pushing back on this stuff, being aggressive. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a billionaire making money. You got to remember, President Trump was good at this stuff decades before. Obviously, he went into politics. And he took a financial hit by going into politics. The lawsuits, the litigation, the opportunity cost. It's been devastating, actually. January 6th, he was debanked. He had nowhere to put the money. Thank God they canceled his bank accounts. I think he had to put it in gold or something for a while. They were shunned. They built themselves back. Eric and Don Jr. and Ivanka and, of course, Donald Trump himself, the president, have been in business their entire lives. Hunter Biden, on the other hand, because they say, well, I didn't like it when Hunter did it, and so you have to not like it this way. No, actually, I don't like it when Hunter did it, but I do like it, and I have no problem with the Trumps doing it. Now, what is the it? That's the thing. Hunter didn't know how to do anything. He had no services to provide. He had no skill. All he could do is get his dad on the phone. Hey, everybody, look at this. I'm going to call the vice president. Look at this. I'm going to call the president. And he put him on speakerphone. We know this. We know this from Devin Archer. We know this from the oversight. We know this. We know this. This has been established. Just checking in. What's wrong with just checking in? No, that was the deliverable. I can get one of the most important people in the world on the phone, and you can ask him for stuff, or you can ask me for stuff, and I'll make sure that he does it. Why the hell else would Joe Biden go to Ukraine so many times? Why would Joe Biden care who the hell the prosecutor general is in Ukraine? Well, the European Union wanted the prosecutor general file. Who's in a good position to tell the European Union what it wants? The vice president of the United States. There isn't one country in the world where Joe Biden has ever bothered to fire or to seek or to demand or to beg, more accurately, for the termination of a local prosecutor. It just doesn't happen that way. So he was a degenerate crack addict. That is Hunter. And these are upstanding business people. You know, there was a magnesium mine in China that Hunter was involved in. He doesn't know anything about that stuff. He doesn't know anything. If you look at the Trump bottom line, you know, they were involved in a lot of things that over the years that were beyond real estate, you know, licensing deals. And I remember just being surprised reading one of the books that they had a huge stake in an insurance company. I didn't know that. I guess, you know, when you're on, you diversify, you got other things going on. This is corruption, though. What I'm about to read to you from a book that was published all the way back in 1992 about Joe Biden, who would constantly remind people that he was the poorest man in the Senate. Always get a laugh or always get an applause or always get some sympathy. And I think that's what Joe was looking for, sympathy. Oh, I'm the poorest man in the Senate. That's a call. That's an announcement, a dog whistle, if you will. No, dog whistles only dogs can hear. Everybody could hear Joe looking for money. I'm the poorest man in the Senate. He also said I deserve a lot more money based on the importance of what I'm doing, these $1 trillion budgets and that kind of thing. This is a famous book. It's called What It Takes, The Way to the White House by Richard Ben Cramer. He profiled everybody running for president in 1988, including a schmuck by the name of Joe Biden, who was 45 years old and had to drop out of the race when he was caught lying about everything. Everything. I mean, just everything. And copying speeches. The guy was a total fraud. He's still a total fraud. It counted back then. Somehow it didn't count in 2020. So this is what he wrote about Joe Biden in 1988. It's pretty astonishing. Remember, the poorest man in Congress. The first thing you've got to know about Joe is the House. Probably the first thing he'd show you anyway. You talk with Biden about anything, somehow it gets back to home. And the house is gorgeous. An old DuPont mansion in the DuPont neighborhood called Greenville, outside of Wilmington. It's the kind of place 1,000 Italian guys died building. Hand-carved doorways, a curving hand-carved grand staircase that Clark Gable could have carried a girl down. A library fit for a Carnegie or Bernard Baruch, someone like that. And a ballroom, can't forget the ballroom, and a living room, about half an acre, and a bathroom upstairs the size of a gym, and all dusty rows outside with beautiful brickwork over the windows, black shutters, white porches, a fountain, a pool. The place is drop-dead stately. Is the senator from Wilmington? You're a senator. You're going to get certain freebies and certain gimmies. Joe did a $200,000 deal for the House. That was more than he had, of course. But Biden never let money stand in the way of a deal. He got in the developer's face and started talking fast. Joe can literally talk fast. It's like the stutter left it all pent up. Fake news about the stutter. He made it up just so he would appeal to this guy in the book. The beautiful thing is the way he talks deals. By the time Joe's finished talking, it wouldn't matter if he didn't have $1,000 cash. In fact, that no one would see any cash for years. When Joe Biden gets going on a deal, he'll talk that deal until it's shimmering before your eyes in God's holy light, like the Taj Mahal. Where do I sign? Man's a BSer. Got things because he was, and by the way, he's not that great a talker, right? It's strange, not that eloquent. Anyway, when he moved in, he started finding out the place, first winter months. Okay, a lot of fuel. It was it was like a white elephant. Too much house for Joe to afford. When he moved in, the old winding driveway led from Manchin Drive, but Joe couldn't buy all the land that held the right of way, and then he pissed off the owner of the front lot, who put boulders in the driveway, so Joe had to build a new one around the front, which was great because everybody who drove in would have to see the whole place. Just, you see this stuff. And so anyway, Donald Trump doesn't have to make any apologies for the money, all right? He's good at it. That's what he does. And the kids, too. I saw them on The Apprentice 20 years ago, sitting at that table, just like Donald Trump himself. All right. It's going to be in the news a lot. They're going to get Republicans talking about it. Please remember, don't fall for it. All right? They're business people. This is what they do. They're allowed to do it. Hey, one thing we never hear about when it comes to the mail-in voting, I've been bringing it up, is the coercive factor. If you mail from home, it sounds secure. I don't care if it is secure. What if you got a jerk husband who tells you you got to vote this way or that way, or a jerk wife or a brother-in-law or who knows what? This is Bill Barr, the attorney general at the time, back when he had some guts and they were trying to change all the rules and the laws in the middle of an election year. Cut 7, please.
The bipartisan commission chaired by Jimmy Carter and James Baker said back in 2009 that mail-in voting is fraught with the risk of fraud and coercion.
But since then,
and until this administration,
they haven't proved it.
Let me talk.
Yeah, please.
And since that time, there have been in the newspapers, in networks, academic studies saying it is open to fraud and coercion.
Fraud and coercion. The coercion part is just that. Hey, you got to vote this way. You got to vote that way. You know, you're supposed to be secret. We had those curtains. Everybody remember the curtains? I noticed in New York, they don't have curtains, at least in the city. They don't have curtains when you vote. Anybody can see it. They give you a folder, but that doesn't seem secure enough. I don't want anybody knowing. Or maybe I do. Actually, I blab all the time about how I vote. But that's my choice. What would Alice Cramden? Remember Alice Cramden trying to stick up to her big bully brute of a husband, Ralph? Ralph was always threatening her with violence. In one of the old episodes that a lot of people haven't seen because it's one of the lost episodes, Harper. Remember? Ralph wanted to vote for Harper, I think, and Alice wanted to vote for somebody else. And Ralph almost killed her. I don't think he ever would have laid a hand on her, but it's a great moment. Cut 8, please, from The Honeymooners, 1956.
When we go down to the post, and I don't want you to wear that button.
I can't wear this button, Ralph.
Why not?
I'm not voting for Penrose. I'm for Harper.
Oh. You're for who?
I'm for Harper.
You can't be for Harper. I'm for Penrose, and I'm your husband. Everybody knows that a wife has to vote the same way that her husband votes. It's been going on for years.
Oh, that's absolutely ridiculous, Ralph. A woman votes the way she wants to vote, not the way her husband tells her to.
You are voting for Penrose.
I am voting for Harper because he happens to be for people like us, not like your man Penrose.
Harper isn't for people like us, Alice. Harper's for the big shot. Penrose is for the little man. And that's what I am, Alice. I'm a little man. A little man. Don't you dare say it.
Alice was this close to making a fat joke. It's amazing. It's amazing she got away with what she got away with. Can you imagine that? Not voting with your husband in solidarity? No. Of course, you're allowed to vote any way you want, and it's none of the husband's business, and the whole thing should be private. That's another reason why the Supreme Court failed miserably on the vote by mail thing. We have election season now, not election day like the Constitution. Amy Coney Barrett has a huge chip on her shoulder when it comes to Trump. Everybody can see it. You can see it from space. Did you see that video I made and that look she gave President Trump? The look of hate? Amy Coney Barrett, ACB, good friends with KJB, Ketanji Brown, KBJ, Ketanji Brown Jackson. They go to the theater together. Be right back.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So, you see this? Those two daredevils, they call them? The woman is hot at the very top of the Empire State Building. She is beautiful. They post here, the Kissing Daredevils scale Empire State Building, the antenna, all the way up to the tippy top, and they hang a flag. That's 1,454 feet. Let's see what the message is here in a second. I am curious. I'm going to read it. Hey, they went to the trouble of doing it. I'm going to read it. I know. Let's see here. I can't tell what the hell it says. It's flapping in the wind. A man and a woman, they were carrying a banner. Okay, when the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace. That sounds like something in a fortune cookie. No big deal. I don't care. She is beautiful. They're wearing masks, but she looks like Catgirl. And she's got a, what do you call those things? A halter top, when there's like a little bit of a, you can see the belly button and you can also see her arms and shoulders. What is that thing called? Like a tube. This is amazing. At the very top of the Empire State Building. Now, what's going on here? The banner's message modified. Okay, who cares? The woman in the reckless duo appeared to be wearing a black cat mask. Yep, as they previously dangled from the spire, at times holding on just one hand at a time. It wasn't immediately known how the trespassers managed to scale the structure. Well, I know how they did it. They went up to the observation deck. They bought a ticket and they went up to the observation deck, and then they probably left via the observation deck, not the very top observatory, which is indoor. They went up via the outdoor observatory, and they had climbing equipment. Let's see here. Angela Nicolo and her boyfriend, Ivan Birkus. Angela looks like she is a model. Something tells me they're European. I mean, definitely. After lingering at the top of the tower for about 30 minutes, the climbers began making their way down. They evacuated everything else. Oh, there's a huge platform up there. You look at that antenna. It's like a factory. It's not just this like metal stick. It's got a lot of different girders and things going. As the couple reached a platform at the base of the spire, the man appeared to drop down on one knee and present her an item. Was that an engagement? And then they were making out. Now, this, of course, is not the first time somebody has gone up there. I remember when they hung the King Kong. Anybody remember that? But I think that was authorized. Let's see here. Alain Robert, the French Spider-Man, climbed it all the way back in 1994. He was quickly arrested by the cops. I think that's going to happen here if it hasn't already. I want to talk to Angela Nicolo. The boyfriend, these guys are very much in shape. I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued. It's wrong. Don't do it. Dangerous to everybody, especially them. But let's say they took a terrible tumble off of that thing, or they, I don't know, screwed up one of the cables, and they might have to have emergency services unit come. And so you put the first responders at risk potentially. This is against the law. They shouldn't have done it. Anybody remember Philippe Petit? I must say, I got a soft spot in my heart for these guys who do these crazy stunts. Now, the Empire State Building is no longer the tallest building. What is it, like the 5th, 6th, 15th? We got all these crazy super tall buildings on 57th Street. I remember I was at 432 Park Avenue, which is one of those super talls. It's so high. I mean, it's a residential building. It moves. You can feel it moving at the top. And really beautiful, huge windows. Controversial building. It's like a stick. It's like it's like a Ronzoni box of spaghetti. Very, very thin, very, very tall. Anyway, I was in there, and I remember looking down at the Empire State Building. That's just so wow. I remember going to the Empire State Building as a kid with my dad. The World Trade Center. Remember when that was bigger than the Empire State Building? It was a thing. We also have this. Oil prices are down to $67 a gallon. $67 a barrel. How about that? And if you want to abbreviate barrel, it's BBT. BBT. They put a T in there for some reason. I don't know why. And they put an extra B. There's only one B in barrel. Whatever. $67. I'm also hearing that President Trump is poised to pound Iran again. He's going to, he doesn't like how they've been treating us. He doesn't like this on again, off again, open, close again stuff at the Strait of Hormuz. This has been a very convenient moment for us, the ceasefire, right? Because we can replenish our bombs. We almost ran out of them. So I think he's going to start pounding again. I don't know when. Some people think it could be July 4th. But if they're going to screw around on this MOU, General Kellogg told me the other night we still have work to do over there. So if it has to be done, it has to be done. I trust him. I trust POTUS. 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. Happy July. We are halfway through 2026. 6 months to go as of today. Still not too late for a new beginning. Be right back.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
The Marine Toys for Tots foster care program is bringing hope to children who need it most. Every 2 minutes, a child enters foster care, often with only a small bag of belongings. More than 400,000 children face trauma and uncertainty, many before age 8. This May, during Foster Care Awareness Month, Toys for Tots is creating Room for Joy. In 2025, nearly 375,000 children received comfort through toys, books, and essentials, reminding them they are not alone. Donate now and change a child's life.